Okay, so in the last video, I was talking about how it is that the government can steal your stuff legally, right? Based on some laws. Now, in order for them to jump from theft to legal, something has to happen, some sort of event. Some sort of event has to happen in order for the government to go from a crime to something that's legal. And everybody on the child support program, you guys know that one day you got served with some paperwork, right? And then you had a court hearing, and then the judge issued an order, and in that order came your custody and your child support, okay? Now, the funny thing about this is, in order for them to do child support, all right, they've got to essentially say, well, the dad abandoned his children and that's why he's on child support, okay? But why would they want to do that? Why would the courts want to force the dad, right, out of the house, right, away from his kids? Why? Why would they want to do that? Okay. Now, in the last video, I mentioned 42 U.S. Code 666A. There's another one that's called 42 U.S. Code 658A. This is the reason why they want to force dads out of the home, because when they do, this law right here allows the state to tell the federal government, hey, we put a dad on child support, so give us some money. And that's what that law says. That law says that if you put somebody on child support, the federal government will give your state some money, okay? It's in the law. But the problem is this law was brought about because 100 years ago and even further, people were abandoning their children. And the governments were like, man, we need to do something about this. People are just leaving their kids. So we need to make it to where the local governments will do something about this, and they'll make parents responsible for their children. So in order to do that, they said, well, we'll give those local governments like your city or your county, we'll give them some money from the federal bank account so that they are incentivized to make absent parents show up, deadbeat parents, right? But then what happened was they saw money. They saw money coming in. And the judiciary, there's three branches, the legislative, judicial, and executive. The judiciary runs this whole operation, the judiciary. They're very powerful in this country, and they pretty much do what they want. They make up the rules. They even give themselves immunity to where they won't hold each other accountable. So the judiciary, about in the 1940s and 50s, they started seeing that they could get money, but they had a hard time tracking people. And then computers came about. And then they were like, well, now we have computers, we can keep track of workers. So if we force everybody into the child support program and take the dads out of the family, we get more money. And this money right here in this law, 42 U.S. Code 658A, this money is the reason why the courts force dads away from their children. Even if you did not abandon your child, they force you to abandon your child. That's why you get lopsided. That's why the moms get custody this much and dads get custody that much, okay? Because the courts need this. They need this big part right here. They need this. If they can make it lopsided, they can say, oh, well, the dad, he abandoned his children, therefore we need the money. And they make you pay the child support, but the federal government gives your state a bunch of money because of this law. All right. That's why in Texas, the population, I'm just gonna tell you real quick how Texas has the fucking game on this thing. This is this right here is the population of Texas, okay? And this right here is the population of California. All right. But this money right here that comes from the federal government, Texas gets this much and California gets that much. You would think that because California has more people, they probably have more divorces, therefore they should be getting more child support. But for some reason, it's opposite. Texas has less people and they get more child support. And that's thanks to Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, used to be the child support king. He used to be the attorney general. He figured all this stuff out back in the 90s. All right. And when he became governor, he made this stuff stick around. This is theft. This is fraud because Texas is lying to the federal government. The federal government assumes that the dad abandoned his children, but they don't realize that the Texas judiciary, the judges, are making dads abandon their families. And then they're telling the federal government, hey, this dad abandoned his kids, so you got to give us some money because we're going to put him on child support. And the federal government's like, yeah, okay, fine. We're too busy doing other stuff to worry about whether or not you guys are trying to steal money from us. We're just going to trust you. Okay? This is the reason why you're being stolen from. All right? And this is your own government. Your own government is doing this. It's the lawyers and the judges. Okay? The lawyers and the judges and your child support offices. They all feed off of this system right here.